And good morning to all of the influencers out there this morning. I appreciate you joining us this morning. And for those that watch the replay, I know you're going to enjoy it as well. I'm not Judith Awesome. I definitely am not. So she has in the process of a move and has some difficulty with internet. So she had asked me if I would take her place on the Unintentional Heroes podcast for the Chamber influencers. So here I am, and I am excited to be here as well because the gentleman I'm going to introduce to you is one that I've had the good fortune of having long conversations with in the past. And so I do know him fairly well and know of his journey and his process and his product, not product, but app that he's developed. It's an extremely interesting journey. And you can see behind me and some of the promo I put up before in the Facebook page, this is really a hero's journey. And if for no other reason, stick around because you're going to hear about a process that started 6.5 years ago that was, by many expectations, not even possible to do. But the guest today, Shane Wallace, has proven them wrong. And I'm happy to introduce Shane to you right now, and we'll start finding out a little bit about him and all of the journey. Good morning, Shane. How are you today?
G'day, Chris. I'm very well, thank you, mate. And g'day to all the listeners and watchers out there.
Well, we've got some good ones watching right now, that's for sure. And by the way, we are looking at your comments, so make sure that when you comment, I'll put it up on the screen. Shane, tell me a little bit about your history. Where do you live now? Tell me a little bit about your growing up and process. Just tell us a little bit about your early history.
Sure. Well, I'm on the Gold Coast in Australia right now, and absolutely love being here. I'm a true blue, fair dinky die Aussie, as you can probably hear in the accent. It's funny because Australian accents don't sound like they're accents to us, but to everyone else they do sound like they're an accent. So my growing up was in country town pubs, in actual fact. My mum and dad used to buy and sell country town pubs as a bit of a venture, and they did it over many years and bought and sold pubs. And so my childhood was a new school every single year from year 1 to year 8. So at the end of the year, we would move to a new pub and I would go to a new school for the year. And then, so it was seven schools before high school. And then at high school, they were nice and stable there, and we stayed in the one spot for a few years. So I was able to do high school in the one spot. And it was a real privileged upbringing to be able to, gather a lot of street smarts and street wiseness, being brought up in pubs, and you kind of see a little bit of everything in the country towns. So it was definitely far from boring in my life growing up, because after school a lot of the kids' parents would come to the pub, and of course that's my house. So the kids would come over to my house most afternoons because the parents would come down to the pub and do their thing. And in small towns, it's obviously, there's not much to do in a small town. There's generally a post office and a corner store and a pub. And so it was a great upbringing, and I really enjoyed it. And then after high school, I basically went into the Australian military straight out of school.
Wow.
So I joined the Australian Army at 17. I wasn't even an adult at that stage, and I joined the military. And I absolutely thoroughly loved it. It was just one of the highlights of my life when I even look back on it now. The sense of achievement that I felt personally after I completed basic training in the military was such a sense of achievement, because it was actually quite hard, and I was a very fit person as a young fella playing sport, a lot of football, rugby league football. And but the achievement that I felt after passing the military was just, outstanding. And I kind of felt invincible in a sense. And it really was the making of me as a person, I think, going straight into the military out of school. It was one of the best things I could have done for myself, I can tell you.
Well, it's always a good experience in the military. I experienced the same thing, but not right out of high school. It was after I'd graduated from college, and I happened to go with no choice. It was a time in our country where we had a draft, and I happened to win the lottery number, so off I went.
Good on you.
Anyway, so after the military and so forth, you started out into business, or did you go to work for a company of some sort?
No, I started out in business straight away. A friend of mine and myself went into a landscaping business, and that was my first experience of going broke. It was a great experience because when all of a sudden it's all upon you to go and find the work, and it's all upon you to get the job done. And at being young, you kind of your social life can often take over, and it was a tough time for a couple of years because we were just constantly broke and constantly looking for ways to be able to pay the bills at the end of the week and the end of the month, and but then there'd be times where we'd make a fair bit of money as well. So it kind of took the good with the bad, and it gave me a real taste of business, I guess, working for yourself. After that, I actually did go and get a job, and I became a security guard first, and then I was a postman after that. So I was a postie on a bike, and that was absolutely a thrill to do as well, but very boring after a while, and I couldn't see myself staying there long. And it was actually an older gentleman that said to me one day, if you want to make a lot of money in life, you need to get into sales. And I thought, right, it must be time for me to get into sales then. So I applied for a salesperson's job in a bodybuilding supplement company, actually. And I was very fortunate to get that job, and I stayed there 10 years. So I was a sales rep for 10 years with those guys, and loved the company and loved the job. And it was just a real honour, basically, to be working for such a great company. And they gave me free rein. I looked after the whole of the Queensland state here in Australia by myself as the sales rep. I boosted the figures exponentially in my state. I was able to do really well in sales. And but after 10 years, I kind of got a little bit bored, and I thought, well, I think it's time to go and do something that really drives me, and something that I'm really passionate about. And so I decided to go back into business for myself. And I got into putting up big industrial sheds and selling sheds and rainwater tanks because I could see that there was a dollar in it. And I decided, well, I might be able to make a good living out of this. So I dove in head first and went into business and expanded as big as I could expand. I expanded too fast. I didn't know the numbers quite well enough in the game. And within 2 years, once again, I'd gone broke in business for the second time. So that was a real eye-opener again. And I sort of had to do a bit of soul searching after that second one. And my wife and I actually went travelling around Australia in a caravan and decided to get out there. And we've got 4 grown-up children and a granddaughter. And so the kids had grown up. So we decided let's get out there and basically have a look at the place and, decide what we want to be when we grow up. I mean, I was 40 years old at that stage, mind you. And so we decided to go travelling, and we went travelling, and it was just a wonderful experience to see our country properly, and get right around the country. And it was on that journey that both Hayley and I decided that we wanted to do something very large in life, both philanthropically and at a humanity level sort of thing, We wanted to sort of do our bit to sort of to help humanity thrive in some way. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that I wanted to do something big because, I thought if I'm going to fail a third time, it may as well be at something doing really, really big, instead of playing small. So when we'd gotten back around from the Australia trip, the opportunity came up to build an app. So that's how Workapp started, and off we went racing there.
Well, that's when you go through 2 failures, it teaches you a lot. What do most people say? You've got to fail at least twice before you find success. And I found that to be true myself. I've had actually 5 businesses in my life, and I've gone through some of that as well. And it does teach you a lot. There's no doubt about it. You don't want to learn it, but it does teach it. That's for sure.
It's a hard lesson to learn. It's a hard lesson, that's for sure. But, I look back now favourably because I really did learn a lot both times in that, So
Now, does your wife work with you now in your business, your present
Yes, she
business?
does. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you find that relationship good as far as working with your
Yes.
wife?
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, we're sort of peas in a pod. She's always been the one to do the computer work, and I've never been the one to even touch a computer, which is quite ironic, being a tech CEO. Even the first app that I'd ever downloaded was Workapp, so I had never even downloaded an app prior to Workapp.
So how did we do have a comment here from one of our listeners. Elizabeth says we can fail over and over, so long as you get back up, you'll shine bright. And
correct.
of course, I couldn't agree more with that. How in the world did you think of an app, since you've never even worked with one or developed one or anything else? Now, just so everyone knows, the name of the app is Workapp, and while we're talking about it here, that is the link to this. So, how did you even decide to do an app, for goodness sakes?
Well, it was actually my brother's idea that it originated from. He's a tradesman over here in Australia, and he often found issues with locating workers, sort of labour hire workers, part-time and that sort of thing. And this one particular day, he had a concrete truck turn up on site, and he had a labourer pull out on him at the last minute, which gave him two options. He either turns the truck around and pays for the load anyway, or finds a worker in that, next few minutes to help him deal with it, which is almost impossible. But he decided to just go out in the street and drive up the street in his vehicle, yelling out the window, "Need a worker, need a worker, need a worker. Does anyone want a day's work?" And he actually got a person at the end of the street, brought him back and put him to work and saved the day. And he rang me and said, "Let's build an app that finds the closest active workers to the job sites, because us tradies really need it." And I said, no, thank you. I'm not interested in building any such thing. And it was a week later, he rang me. He said, "Listen, if we don't do this, someone else is going to do it, because we really needed us tradesmen." And that was what really got me. It was a need. It wasn't a money-making venture. It wasn't, something that was just pie in the sky, let's try this. It really came from a need. And I decided that the next thing that I was going to do in life, in a business level, I was going to do large. I was going to play as big as I could get, because like I say, I'm willing to fail. I'd rather fail at something really big than fail at something really small. I'm willing to fail, so let's just go for the stars, sort of thing, And so the fact that it was based on, solving an issue, solving a problem that many other tradespeople have around the world, sort of thing, I figured, well, geez, that's a good idea if straight away you're solving problems to begin with. So we decided, look, let's have a go at building this app. Neither of us knowing what's involved in building an app whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so we just dove in. The beauty of it is, people say to me, so how did you manage to build this app? Well, the reason I built it is because I didn't know I couldn't. I really just didn't not know that I couldn't do that. And when people started to tell me, "Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that and you won't be able to do this and you won't be able to do that," I just sort of fobbed it off and thought, well, we'll see. I'll have a go, sort of thing, And off we went. So that's basically how it came about. It was just quite coincidental. It wasn't planned or anything like that, and it really was based on solving a problem and providing a need to the community. And that's what I liked about it,
So you started building it. Now, you didn't have that much money, did you, to start building it?
We didn't have much money at all, no.
You pretty much starting from scratch in both the knowledge and the finances. So correct. What happened in the first year of your quest, so to speak?
Well, I said to my brother, "Righto, will you go and find a computer technician, because we're definitely going to need one of those, and I'll go and find us a solicitor, because I know we're definitely going to need one of those as well, to be able to get all of your intellectual property component tied up, trademarking proceedings," because I had a bit of business experience up until that point, as you know, and I had gone broke in business a couple of times, and I'd also had friends in business that had gone through various issues throughout their business journey, and one of them was trademarking, and the fact that they hadn't trademarked their brand became a big issue to them. So it was something that I knew that I had to do from word go if we were going to be serious about this. and we engaged a computer technician, and we just basically started. You know, one step after the other. That's all we did, is one step after the other. And for the first year, we got our first version. Well, it wasn't our first version. It was our first attempt at going live. We got that live at the end of 2013, so at the end of the first year. And it was really quite awful, the product. It was very, very, you know, outdated and clunky, and would just basically freeze and crash all the time. But I was excited because it was the first app that I'd downloaded, so, you know, and it was mine. So I was pretty happy with that. But it didn't work out so good that first attempt. So we went back to the drawing board, and we engaged additional help to try and build it to a better standard and to have more, you know, ability in the back end. And the second go, we went live as well, and that was at the end. It was in mid 2014. We had our second attempt at going live, and it was actually quite interesting because we did a competition on Facebook in India. We gave away some iPads in return to come and register on the platform, and we couldn't handle any load. And, you know, all of a sudden, people started registering lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, and then the platform would just crash day in, day out. And so I called that a successful failure, that one. And I thought, well, you know, I was convinced at that stage that this was absolutely going to work. You know, the fact that we'd failed because we couldn't handle a spike in load told me that, right, what we've got to go and do is work out how to deal with this spike in load, not whether we're going to be able to get people on it or not. And so that's when I went away and I engaged a professional development company here in Australia. And we teamed up at the start of 2015. They're called Milestones Technology Group, MTG. And we've got a very strong partnership still today.
Now, tell us about that first meeting with that group.
Well, that was quite interesting because we met at a networking event, and I was pitching Workapp because, you know, everywhere I go, everyone I meet, they know about Workapp. I tell them about Workapp. You know, I've been practicing my 11-second elevator pitch for the last 6.5 years, and I've got it down to 8 seconds, by the way. So I'm going all right on the 11-second elevator. Yeah, it's not that easy. But that first meeting was basically, you know, me pitching them, saying, you know, I've got this really good idea, and they agreed it's a really good idea. And so that became a second meeting. And on the second meeting, they basically said to me, look, we love what you're doing, and we're keen to get involved with you. As long as you can fund it, we're in, sort of thing, you know. And I just nodded my head and said, yes, okay, we can fund it. And not knowing what that meant, how much it's going to cost, and, you know, how long it's going to take, because it was quite an unknown thing as to how long Workapp was going to take to build. Even the experts said, well, we can only start and see how we go. You know, like they estimated it was going to take 1 to 2 years at that stage to build, and it's actually taken just over 4.5 years since we've engaged those and they developed the platform with us. So it took double the amount of time that they thought, and but it's worth it. We're here now.
Okay, now, when you were sitting across the desk from them and they told you the price, what did you do afterwards?
So they said, basically, look, you know, you're going to have to start with about $1 million and just see how you go. And I said, okay, no worries, and just nodded and you know, thought, okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to find $1 million, but don't worry about that. Let's just say yes and see how we go. And I went home and told my wife, I said, it's really good, you know, they're really keen to build it with us, but we've got to come up with $1 million somehow, sort of thing, you know. And she said, well, how are you going to do that? I said, I don't know. I'm just going to go down the pub for a beer and have a bit of a think about it. And I went down the pub for a beer, and lo and behold, there's a person there that was you know, quite delightfully cheery and grinning from ear to ear. I'd never met this person, and so I grabbed my beer and I went over and shook hands and said, you know, g'day, my name's Shane. And of course, within minutes, I'm telling them about Workapp and pitching Workapp like I did everywhere I went. And he asked me, could I invest? You know, I'd like to invest in your company. And I was a little bit taken back, and then of course I said yes. And within a week, we had 9 of his mates invested as well.
How much did he invest that night?
10 grand.
How much did he?
10,000. Yeah,
Okay.
and that was the average amount that people were putting in. But within a week from then, I had 9 others put in 10K through his channels. And so I had my first $100,000 within a week without trying. And I thought, wow, okay, I've only got to do that another 9 times to get $1 million. So, you know, I've done it in a handful of days. Maybe I really can do this, you know. Maybe I don't have a problem with the whole funding thing like people think, you know. And off I went to raise capital. And we ended up with many hundreds of people that invested over the years, and it's just been an absolute thrill to be a part of.
Now, as I understand it, you actually went from your office was the pub every day,
The pub and the car.
from night to night or day to day, you were in a pub fundraising, right? And you raised $1 million inside a pub or of one type or another. Is that correct?
More than $1 million.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, I think it ended up being how much?
Well, we're up over 4.5 million now. We've invested in to build the product.
And it all came from just sitting and talking with people and being open and creating enthusiasm. And yes, I want to be a part of this.
Definitely.
And that's what you bring to the table. You get people excited about things. Now,
pubs, clubs, and networking rooms and discos. Nothing was out of bounds. If there was people there, then I'm there asking, would you like to invest?
That's fantastic. I don't know
actually got
anyone
the numbers
else.
on it. I did the numbers over the years, and I would average around about 9 no's for 1 yes. So for every 10 people that I asked, I would generally get a yes. And it was a real mindset game, because after a while I realised, you know, when I'm up to my 7th no, I get really excited because I've only got 2 more no's to go before I get a yes. So I was looking forward to the no's in the end, because I started counting the no's rather than counting the yeses, because it always ended up around about 9 no's for a yes. So I used to just count the no's.
And along with that, here you are. You had the money. You ran the developer. Obviously, was capable of doing it. I assume are you still with this developer?
Absolutely. Yep. We're very strong. We have a very strong partnership. They are very much, you know, behind this product, and we wouldn't be here without them at all, Chris. You know, they really did take it on, because it's one of those things where you have to dare to fail in order to succeed. And even from their perspective, they were upfront that they just weren't 100% sure how it was going to turn out. None of us were. It just had to be a situation where you just start and see how you go.
Well, I know that most people along the way, they'll think of an idea, and of course they're immediately faced with the fact that it takes money to build anything. I don't care if it's just a local agency, it still takes money to grow it and build it. But how many people would think that you as an individual, without having venture capitalists behind you or bankers behind you or any other type of financial institution behind you, would single-handedly go out and raise over $4 million? Now, I don't know if that's ever been done before. I hear a lot about our Silicon Valley guys over here. And of course, the first thing they do is go out and find a VC and make a pitch and see if they can get $2 million, $3 million to start up their little thing. But never heard of this before, Shane. I am amazed for a fact. Now, along the way, also, some of our folks out there face this all the time. They're starting up something. Not only is there maybe money that stands in the way, but also their friends and family sometimes stand in their way, because they say, why would you want to do this? Let's say you're starting, in our case, people run local marketing agencies. Why would you want to do this? In some cases, why would you even dream of quitting your job? Your job makes you money. And how's this going to make you any money? So they run into this constantly. You can't do it. You shouldn't do it. Did you run into that along the way, Shane?
The whole time, Chris, the whole time. You know, from word go, it was people telling me basically what they thought I couldn't do, or what they thought we couldn't achieve. You know, they would say things like, you know, there's already Google out there, there's already Facebook out there, you know, there's already all these other big platforms. How are you going to be able to do anything, you know, that's going to get in the market beside those guys? And, you know, so it was always a situation where people would basically be quick to say, you know, it's going to be impossible to do. And but I just basically that fueled me. I converted that energy from it being a negative thing to me to a positive thing. And in actual fact, to this day, when I look back at all of the naysayers, I thank them dearly from the bottom of my heart, because it was the extra fuel I needed to really push on and do something extraordinary. You know, when I look at the Elon Musks and a lot of those people out there, and, you know, you can imagine the ridicule that they've gotten over the years, and they've just stuck to their guns. And, you know, Richard Branson's another big one that I, you know, would quite admire in his business style. And he just stuck to his guns and did what he thought he could do, and not worried about what other people told him he couldn't do, you know. And I think that's the biggest key, is you've got to just back yourself 100%, and you've got to find a way of converting that negative energy that you will get. You absolutely will get it. It just comes with the job, and you've got to convert it into the fuel that you need to push through.
Well, I know I'd like to have you kind of take us through your app, and then I've got some other things that I want to find out as well. But let's take a look at your app now, and let you take the folks through what this vision of yours is. Let's get across to the window, boom, and boom. Let's see here. Okay, we got it up on the screen. Can you see it, Shane?
Yep, I've got it. So
okay.
Can you see me? Can you see it okay?
Right, we can see the screen, but take it away.
Okay, so what you've got at the top here is what we call What's Fresh in Workapp. You can see that title there that I'm just running the cursor under. What's Fresh in Workapp is our showcase. And that's basically everything that's inside the platform that's being boosted and listed.
Shane, could I ask you to do this first?
Yep.
Explain the purpose of Workapp.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll give you my 11-second elevator pitch in 8 seconds. Okay, so you ready? Time it. Workapp is a totally free digital platform for automotive and real estate, workers and jobs. Oh, I just forgot it. We have to start again now. Ready?
Oh, no.
8 seconds. Go. Okay, so Workapp is a totally free digital platform for automotive and real estate, workers and jobs, buying and selling, and much more. There you go. That's what Workapp is. Workapp is literally an industry tool that has combined all of the major global platforms all into one, and then we've just removed the fees completely. No fees, no charges, no commissions. It's 100% free. So like your big automotive selling platforms, your big real estate selling platforms, your big classifieds type platforms, your e-commerce platforms with digital shop and shopping cart and PayPal, and, you know, your events platforms and all of those type of platforms, we've just put all into one, and then we've made it free for everyone.
Well, I said early on to you that this reminds me, and some people will think this here, so I want to clarify that. This is would be somewhat similar to a Craigslist type situation, but it's like a Craigslist on steroids. So now that I've said all that, carry on, my man.
Okay, cool. So at the top, we've got What's Fresh in Workapp, and this is our showcase. So this is basically everything that's being listed inside the platform. And as you can see here, is our free listings, closest and freshest sort of thing. And I'll just scroll through a couple there. We've got a filter at the top here, and that filter can go and put sections in or out. So I'll go and take auto out, apply filter. Now this is the showcase. This is not the search results. This is just the showcase, which is showing everything inside the system. So once again, you get free advertising inside Workapp. So I've just taken auto out of it. So, and we've got someone here in Canada, Los Angeles, is it? Los Angeles, yep. One in Ormo, that's good. So if I just go over here and scroll down. Okay, these are my listings here, and I can go and boost these listings just by going refresh and refresh and refresh that. And you can refresh as often as you wish. And each time you boost the listing, you boost yourself to the front of the showcase. So it takes about 60 seconds to go through our database on average, and whoever boosts goes to the front. So if I go change over here to my listings, because that was my delegated listings there. So you've got your own listings, and then you've got your delegated listings, which is, you know, a business that might have put you in charge of their business or in control so that you can take the inquiries with that business. Might be administration staff, might be sales staff or whatnot. That way everyone can have a turn at, you know, it can help manage the platform. So, and we've also, if I go now to go to search, I'll just click search. Just thinking. Okay, now you can see all of our tabs that we've got across the top here. So I've got businesses, workers, real estate, jobs, auto, community, events, classifieds, wanted, tasks, and find people.
Okay, it just now showed up on the screen, so we missed the first part of that.
Okay, I'll go down. So these are just, I've gone into the business section, and it's just brought up business. And now what it does is it gives you the closest active business at the top. No one gets to pay. Okay, it's always the closest. And as I make my way down, and you'll see when I get to the number 7th position here, that's what we call a Workapp billboard. That's our first paid spot. So I'll go back up to the top. The closest are at the front. So this person here hasn't put an image in. That's why it says no image available. They haven't attached a business image. I'll go over to, maybe we'll go into real estate. So go to the real estate section, and then that'll load there. And so what it'll do is it'll bring up now the closest active home for sale or unit or real estate. And of course you can search by location. So you can see here, I can go and search, you know, property types, keywords, location, how many beds, how many baths, all that sort of thing, just like your normal real estate platforms. And then I'll just make my way down a little bit, and then you can see we've got some lovely, lovely places on here right now for sale, and many thousands coming too. As you can see, you know, that's one's worth 475,000. Some lovely places here. There's our first billboard, Workapp billboard, a paid spot. And it works down to the free listings. We've got $1 million properties on here. You know, some lovely looking properties actually. And I'll make my way down further. Okay, so what happens with Workapp is you can put a search location in, or you can just search straight in that category. So if I go into, let's go into classifieds, and that's just knickknacks for sale. And you can type in bikes, you can type in, you know, prams, you can type in handbags, whatever you've got. It's just a classifieds for sale section. Once again, you've got keyword at the top there that you can search for. And then there's things for sale. So there's a couch for sale there. There's another couch for sale there. And looks like a chest freezer there. And so I'll go up and I'll just hit search. So we'll put keyword in, we'll put bike. Let's put bike. We'll hit search. Let's see if it brings up some bikes. Yep, so it's brought up a bike. Bike for sale. They want $1,500. Looks like a fast bike too. Bike trailer. The way that our system works is it'll bring up anything with the title description. So bike trailer, bike parts, bikes. It'll do a bit of all of it, sort of thing. It matches the keyword on the description title of it. So let's go. Let's try. Think of something else. What else can we type in?
Well, let's say I'm a painter and I need a job.
You're a painter?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go. If you're a painter, we'll go businesses, and you could go to jobs as a painter, or you could go into workers as a painter. But if we go to businesses, I'm sure there'll be painting businesses on here. There's generally a bit of everything on here in Australia. So we'll go painter. Okay. Okay, so we've gone painter, search. And as you can see there, it says closest and freshest, my city, my country, and worldwide. Okay, so first business up here, entertainers, no, probably because I've said painter. Let's go paint. So you see here, it is a text-based search, like Google. You can try it all different ways. Try paint. Paint shop. And there's one painter. So this one's gone rendering. We've got Brody's painting. We've got East Coast painting. Let's have a look at this one. So you can just open it, click on it, and that'll open the business. Once you're inside the business, you can contact them directly. So you can see the contact details there at the top. This fella's name is Joseph. So this looks pretty new too, and it'll tell us last refreshed 5 hours ago. You can see on the screen there. So 5 hours ago, this person boosted their listing and put it to the front. And it says East Coast painting.
I like the fact that you can message, call, email, or look at their website. That's
message, call, email, look at their website. So let's just try that. So let's go up and go. We can send them a message there, like you say, message, call, email. Let's go and check their website out. And that'll just take you straight to their website now. What we've been mindful of doing is allowing the people or the businesses or the people listing on there to direct the traffic where you'd prefer to direct them rather than where we want you to direct them, sort of thing, you know. Some people want to send them to their social pages. Not sure that it's open, that one.
Well, I see also that you have star rankings, a 5-star ranking system down below too. Did we lose you? Yep. Seems like we lost Shane. Let's see if Shane will check back in. Well, this is something that I was amazed about, mainly because he is spreading this throughout Australia right now. And in order to move it out and about, I'll bring him back on now. He has got all kinds of things going on. And in fact, let's see if we can find out more. Okay, Shane, you're back.
I'm back, mate. I'm back. Let's see what I can do
back,
here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what I did there. I clicked something and boom, we're out.
I know. It's pretty quick, wasn't it? That's all right. That's all right. Now, the functionality of it is amazing. And there's no doubt that it took several years to develop the back end of this system. I don't even know. I have no idea how it happens, believe me, myself, because I'm not in the IT business. And we lost Shane again here for a moment. He's having to get his buttons straight. But I think what you see here is a man who has had a dream. He started out, didn't work, but he still believed in it. And while he was working toward the main goal, something clicked and it all came together through persistence. Okay, Shane's back now. All right, Shane, we'll bring you back on again here, my man.
Okay, I think I'm good now.
Okay. Now let's let me ask about your goals for Workapp. Like Workapp, we get a good idea of what Workapp is. It's a free advertising board, jobs board. I think you even had on there, what was the other one you had on there that I can't remember?
It's events. It's also,
yeah, events. Yes, community and events are on there as well. So if you have an area or community event, you could put that on Workapp as well, and be seen or have exposure to that. And so it covers a wide gamut of things that will relate to you and your everyday life. I mean, these are things that people look at every day in some fashion or another. So what are your goals now for Workapp?
Well, Chris, I have a very strong vision of every single internet user in the world on Workapp over the next decade. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, you're doing fine, yeah.
And, you know, people can ridicule that and say that you're aiming too high. But for me, I just know that people need help in the digital age. The little guy has gone by the wayside. You know, like you've got to pay big money to be able to rank at the top of search engine optimization. And that's not easy in our day and age. You've either got to become a personality on social media, or you've got to go and pay huge fees. And it's not easy for small businesses to make ends meet in this day and age. And what I believe Workapp will become for the world is an industry platform that creates a level playing field so that people can thrive in the digital age and not worry about having to come up with the exorbitant costs to get the job done and get your brand out there and get the phone ringing and get the quotes that you need and do the business that you need. And that's what I think Workapp will become in the next very short while, is an industry platform that creates a level playing field for everyone without the costs.
And I think you have some philanthropic plans for this too. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, personally, my wife and I, we're very driven to be able to help as many people as we can. It's always been kind of who we are at our core. And that's why whatever it was that I did in life from a business sense for the third go had to have the philanthropic attachment to it. You know, otherwise it wasn't going to be enough for me to drive myself, you know. If it can't be just about making money, it has to be far more than just making money. And for us, Workapp is far more, you know.
Tell us some of the ways you promoted it there locally. You told me about a very clever PR move that you're about to make. And I know that your focus now is Australia. And before you tell us about your local move, where do you plan on progressing next? I know you and I have talked about bringing this to the U.S. very, very soon. So what are your plans as far as expansion go?
Well, we believe that we can get it worldwide from social media. Essentially, it's such a great tool that we've got at our hand these days, social media. You know, I mean, you and I connected from it, and I've connected with a lot of people in the faraway land from it. And it's already starting to really build momentum here in Australia for us as well. So that's definitely one of the big ways. But also, as I was mentioning to you, that I'm keen to go out as a keynote speaker and to tell my story and to tell the Workapp story and to hopefully inspire people into having a go at something in life. You know, not just playing safe. We're here to do something big, yeah. And you've just got to work out what it is for you and get on with doing it. And so that's definitely something that I think people need to do for themselves. So I'm willing to do a lot of things to get Workapp out there. I've worn signs on my back. I've got a massive big sign and I made straps for it. And I've walked around the Gold Coast with this sign that says download Workapp. As I mentioned to you before, I've got a kite being made that goes 100 metres in the air. And that's going to have a big banner off it and that sort of thing. I've done lots of stuff out and about where I just go and do a lot of cold calling and that sort of thing. So we've got a lot of supporters behind us here now, Chris. Many hundreds of mum and dad shareholders. Right. And they're just absolutely thrilled at our progress to this point. We've stuck at it for years. And now that we're at where we're at, everyone's really excited. And so I feel like I've got a sales force behind me, you know, with the mum and dad investors. And so it's sort of like the sky's the limit now. There's no stopping this.
You had an interesting promotion that you did with a trucking company, which gave you area-wide, if not almost national exposure.
That's right.
What was that all about?
There's a really cool trucking company here by the name of Freight Shift, and they're actually carting for the US military as well here in Australia. and they cart big tanks and machinery around, that sort of thing. And so they're having the prime movers are being stickered with Workapp all over the trucks. And there's going to be banners that are tied onto the side of loads and that sort of thing. There's actually 5 trucks all up. So plus we've got another 2 Pantech trucks that are driving about 100 kilometres a day throughout all the city areas and that sort of thing. And they've got big back doors plastered with Workapp all over it. And we're looking for other opportunities here as well. But the out of the box opportunities is what I'm looking for, not the mainstream stuff. You know, I think it's got more ability to stand out when it's out of the box than rather than just falling in with the same old, same old.
Have you been able to track the number of people that have been on site and who are advertising at this point?
Yeah, we've got 40,000 registered users. Yeah, so just under 40. It's not quite 40 yet, but it's going up at a greater rate of knots these days. And I think that's going to snowball in the next, 1 to 2 months. I think we will have a lot more users than we've got now. We've got some 950,000 followers on Facebook. So both likes and followers. People say, did you buy those likes? Well, you might be able to buy likes, but you can't buy followers. And if you go and have a look on the Workapp Facebook page, it has 950,000 likes and 950,000 followers. So no, we didn't buy those likes. There's actually 950,000 people that are following along.
Right. That's unbelievable. I see one of our viewers today, Elizabeth, has already gone off. She's going to create a profile today. So there you go. Huh?
Thanks, Elizabeth. She said it was easy and it didn't cost a cent.
That's it.
That's music to my ears.
Now, I also understand that you have something special in mind for the present viewers and our replay, I assume, right? Our replay visitors.
Sure. So what I'm offering all of the listeners and viewers of this podcast and this interview is a free digital Workapp billboard. So all they've got to do is send an email to shane@workapp.com.au and just request your free digital billboard if you want one. Of course, you can just hop on Workapp for free and you can create your listings for free. But the advantage in having a digital billboard is it doesn't have to be boosted and it can also show up in other search results. So for example, say a hairdresser had a Workapp billboard, I might be searching through cars and then the 7th one would be the hairdresser billboard. And then I might be searching through houses and then get a hairdresser billboard. The billboards are not search result related. They're basically set in the 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, and every 7th position throughout the app, and they're not search result related. There's only a certain amount of billboards up for grabs in each zone, in 20 in fact. So but I'm happy for the viewers here to come and get a free billboard. It'll be a discount code, which will give them a 1 month free billboard.
But for our people here, that would be a wonderful way to get some business in Australia at this point.
Definitely.
Digital services can be done from anywhere. It doesn't matter what country you're in. So
that's
if
the
you
idea.
If you're providing digital services for websites or for any other type chatbots, I mean, who cares, right? They can go ahead, you can put it in the banner, and who knows? It's free advertising, ladies and gentlemen. So, and this platform is growing like a weed,
So, like you could create your free listings over in the US, North Carolina, or wherever people are listening to this and watching this, but they then might decide to adopt a Workapp billboard in Australia, where that would then generally cost them. It won't cost them to have their listings where they are, and they can have as many free listings as they want. But if you want a digital billboard in a specific area and you don't want to have to boost that billboard, and you can send the billboard to your landing page of choice, social links, website links, with just one click, that's where we're going to generate our revenue as a platform, as an advertising platform.
Very good. Now, what should they send to you at this email address?
Just say, Shane, can I please have the discount code for a free billboard?
And then they'll go and produce and do their own billboard on Workapp.
It's all self-serve. That's right.
Okay.
And so an email discount code will be emailed back to them, and they'll be able to just to apply that. They'll work it out. It's pretty simple.
Very good. Now, I am truly anxious for you to come to the United States. So,
I'm keen too, mate.
Now, there's obviously there are steps to be taken prior to that time, but how soon do you think you would actually be ready?
Well, potentially this year, but definitely next year. Definitely next year. Yeah, I mean, seeing how the next few months go, I won't be surprised if we have 1 million users on Workapp in the next few months. I mean, there's 950,000 followers on Facebook. So, maybe this year.
I got it. Okay. And if you were to have a final thought for those who are trying to get into business, tell us what your final thought for these folks would be.
I say go for it. Don't be afraid of failing. You really got to just back yourself. The biggest thing in life that we sacrifice is not having a go. Most people aren't willing to fail. And because of that, they don't actually have a go at something. And it's unfortunate. And most people do fail at things. So it's kind of one of those things where you've got to be able to dust yourself off and get up and keep going, like that viewer said before. But the biggest thing I can say to people is just have a go. It's so worth it.
This listener is still saying, she's rooting for you, Shane. She really is.
Good on you, Elizabeth.
I'd
be happy to give you a billboard.
And not search results related. Connect with Shane. Wow, what an offer. And she is right. This is a heck of an offer for a lot of great exposure. You got to take advantage of this one without a doubt. Shane, it's been a delight to have you on today, and inspirational as well as informative. And I am, for one, am looking forward to being able to access it here in the U.S. and make use of it in my community, as well as seeing it being utilized in communities all over the United States. The sky's the limit. I mentioned when we first started, I see the world map behind you, and it's there for a reason. I know that, because your idea is to take this to virtually every country in the world. And
I want it developed in every language: Chinese, Japanese, every other E's, German and French. I'd like to see it literally developed in every single language and free in every country worldwide, helping the people. Because
everyone needs the same thing. They need a good way to find services and products.
That's right. All right. And a level playing field.
Shane, thank you for your time. I know it's after midnight in Australia. What city do you live in, Shane?
I'm on the Gold Coast, and I think it's 1 o'clock now.
1 o'clock.
1 a.m.
Right. You're ready for bed. All right, my man. I appreciate it. I know our members do, and I know you and I will talk soon. All right.
Thanks heaps, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.